Okay, we are getting going here, and we should be good to go. Hi, I'm Seth Adler. I am the host of the AI and Intelligent Automation Network podcast, as well as the editor-in-chief of the whole darn thing. So thanks for coming in. We've got next up Marcin Nowakovski, who has been so kind as to really have an in-depth conversation about scaling up, what can be done, what should be done, and what absolutely needs to be done. So, Marcin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for the invitation. Hello, Seth.
All right. So, achieving global enterprise AI and intelligent automation. How the heck are we going to do that? So, let's just take a step back. Every few minutes, Marcin, what would you say happens every few minutes?
Well, as we can see on the market, every few minutes an automation project is kicking off. People are starting, people are trying, experimenting, selecting the processes to be automated. A lot of things are happening. It's evolving very fast, but in the same time, you can see that there are issues with scaling up. So it's not so easy to scale up. It's much easier to start, but not so easy to scale up.
Mm-hmm. So, in the face of that unprecedented velocity of change, we must take action. So, managing that constant change, dealing with kind of governing bodies, realizing the disparate results in geozones. Speak to those main issues here.
Well, the change is happening at a great speed. It's really, really fast. And in the same time, we are experiencing a shortage of talent, which can help us manage with that change. And we can see that nor governments, nor corporations, nor partners or vendors which are supplying us with the solutions are really starting working on the upskilling of the workforce, digital upskilling. So we are realizing that in different time zones, in different geo zones, this will have a very, very big impact.
Mm-hmm. And it kind of depends on where you are, but the bottom line is finding that talent with the digital transformation skills is difficult, is to say the least, right?
Well, exactly. The current pool of talent is very scarce. The skilled people are located in different locations. They are not put in one place when you can easily use them and get them. And also these talents are not stabilized. They need to evolve around the new tools, around the new methodologies, new frameworks. So it's all in constant move.
Mm-hmm. And we kind of point out this automation-related transformation methodologies. So beyond the technology and beyond kind of the change management methodologies that have always worked for us in the past, we've got to kind of broaden the scope here and look for someone that really understands transformation.
Yes, indeed. We need people who understand transformation, and we need to adapt the current change management methodologies and get into more digital transformation methodologies and put these methodologies around people and around technologies which we are using, tools which we are using.
All right, so let's dive in here on these people, these carbon-based, these pesky carbon-based people that we still need, even though we're talking about automation, mining for the unique and sophisticated skill sets needed. We kind of started to talk broadly about this transformation type of mindset, but for your organization as well as integration partners, what would you say here as far as mining for that unique and sophisticated talent?
Well, you need to be pragmatic, so you need to have a snapshot, a look what you have at hands. You need to look at your partners, at your vendors, what they can provide fast, and try to ensure that you are not just a training ground for inexperienced staff which will leave after 6 months to join another company. So first step would be checking what you have at hand.
checking what you have at hand, then looking at the partner and really having a true dialogue with that partner so that you understand what is, kind of the seniority and the true kind of experience of the folks that they're putting on your team. And if they are putting folks on your team that you are essentially training, then let's set up the agreement so that it speaks to that point. Is that essentially what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. You need to take care about the stuff which is provided to you, which you are mining out from the markets, and it needs to be the right kind of people.
All right. So realizing a human machine paradigm and finding that global talent. We kind of made up this word because everybody makes up words in intelligent automation. So here's another one, right? Again, diving in on what the integration partners are bringing to the table and how scalable the infrastructure that you already have in place actually is. What are some secrets here in merging that digital workforce with the human mind?
Well, on the partners, you need to be really honest on both sides, partners, providers, and yourself, without too much of marketing mumbo jumbo, and be really honest what you have at hand, the quality of the people, and on the infrastructure. It usually looks good because the technologies which are needed for, at least for the automation, are on the market for ages, so it's nothing new. But you need to carefully take care about your data quality when you apply it on this infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you need to integrate together this human factor, carbon machine, and data sets and infrastructure.
All right, so we've got the data, we've got the people, and we're really kind of starting to talk about the future of work, and let's bring back that kind of geo methodology that you mentioned earlier. It's not going to be the same everywhere, so we've got to find what works where it works. You bring up here the idea, and we've had this conversation before, the micro BPO, one-off talent that might be in an area. Kind of tech co-ops. Talk through kind of these next generation kind of concepts as far as the future of work and how they can help in terms of really kind of bringing you down that path of the journey of your intelligent automation.
Well, I strongly believe that future of work is not in putting thousands of people in one place processing the manual, mundane tasks.
Right.
It's not as a future, and for sure not as a way of scaling up, building a 1,000 people center of excellence for automation. This is not going to work. What I think you will need unique skill sets, unique talents, and these talents may not be available at your area, may not be available at your standard employment contract. So you need to be very agile in looking for them. You need to apply, I would say, just-in-time Toyota way. So get what you need when you need, in a form when you can get it from a market. So it will be either micro BPOs, so BPOs which are very small but specialized in kind of technology or digital tools. That can be one-off talents, people working on business to business or consultants or whatever you can get. And it can be startup or tech cooperation, so getting the small companies, starting up companies to provide you with the solution you need.
And here is exactly where the scaling up issue is, because here's really definitively where we're needing to change the way that we've done things before. It's always been, okay, well, we'll move them over here. All right, then we'll actually kind of centralize it. Okay, instead of 12 offices, we'll do 3 offices. We've always been able to, kind of move from here to here. It's now we're in transformation mode. So the old ways don't apply. And that, it seems like, is the reason why scaling up is such an issue for global corporate enterprise practitioners.
Exactly, because the old solutions are not working anymore. So you cannot fix the new problems with old solutions. This is a new word, change word. and the organization need to go through this transformation.
Mm-hmm. And so we've got the idea here of future-proofing your organization with change management scrums. So whether, you find those micro BPOs or the one-off talent here or there or whatever, once you figure it out with your integration partner or otherwise, really what your advice here is actually integrating a change management scrum that's obviously part of my enterprise, to kind of think about this whole thing differently, but also anticipate the next thing as well.
Yeah. So what I strongly believe, you need a team of people, which would be an axis between these external BPOs or talents or consultants and your business, and let's call it change management scrums. And these people in your organization would understand the business, would understand the context, would know the people and the network. On the other hand, they would understand on a quite high level the technologies available, the tools available, vendors, and they would form a link between your corporation, your organization, and external talents, external pool of people who can help you. So it needs to be a very agile, very dynamic team, open-minded, startup mentality, low money, lots of results, that kind of stuff.
So kind of perfect, essentially, is what we're going for. So that kind of next level sourcing initiative, as we've been saying, new book, same story, realizing that we've got the same old outsourcing issue, time, distance, lack of face-to-face interactivity. You kind of already spoke through that slide. But essentially what we're saying with intelligent automation and with artificial intelligence is right now, we've got to find a mid-cycle cadence at the beginning of the industry's journey. We are, by definition, skipping a number of steps. So what solutions are immediately turnkey? Speak through, essentially what we're getting at here as far as the practices that are already employed that can work here.
Well, exactly. So first you need to, you cannot reinvent the wheel. So you need to look at your internal benchmarks, at external companies, your providers, and you need to choose the tools which will work with a minimum application as a low-hanging fruit, let's say. And then you need to look what you already have at hand, what you're already employing, look through your organization. Maybe you have some green fields when you have the automation going on and you just need to scale it up. So also what is already employed. And in scope of technologies, you need to look through your contracts, you need to look through your infrastructure and see what is in your toolbox, what can be used for the next steps.
Yeah. So, this whole thing, each time that you kind of bring up the next point, it all seems to point to, we use the term micro outsourcing, you and I, but it all seems to kind of get to think small, whether it's micro BPOs, mini BPOs, change management scrums. It's really identifying true talent that is both, change-minded and technically proficient, and not building a massive infrastructure of a center of excellence. It's really, if there's one lesson I'm taking away from this session, it's think small.
Well, yes, think small, think startup, be agile, but also on top of that, I would say you need to make a combination of the human workforce and the digital tools and techniques, and that together will form a solution to your issue. The solution is not in employing thousands of people or employing new brilliant technology alone. It's taking the human intelligence and artificial intelligence, putting it together and getting the solution you need.
It also seems to me, as we talk about the future here, it also seems to me that we're nowhere near. We're as far as just general industry, right? The Fortune 500 or the Global 5,000, we're nowhere near complete and total automation. As far as great percentage of job loss, we're not near that. what it does sound like is that we've got a shortage. We've got an overabundance of folks that copy and paste, and a true shortage of strategic thinkers that are technology proficient. As soon as we turn, column A into column B, it doesn't sound like there's any job loss there. It sounds like there's more jobs than ever before.
Well, I think it goes two directions. So for sure, the mundane, repetitive tasks at some point should disappear, should be automated. On the other hand, as you are saying, many new professions and people around the digitalization with skills about the digitalizations will pop up. But I believe that the net is negative in the long term.
Mm-hmm.
It can be different in different time zones. So I believe that some time zones will get most of these new jobs or new technologies, but some of the geo zones, especially these ones which are now saturated with low complexity outsourcing jobs, can be hit hard with this.
So essentially, look at a map of the world, and percentage-wise, where the computer science graduates are coming from. If there's a high percentage of computer science graduates, you're in good shape. If there's a low percentage of computer science graduates, that's something to pay attention to.
Yes, and it's a point when governments and corporates needs to look what we've been discussing, the skill upskilling people, taking them through the digital revolution, which is happening very fast, and adjusting the school system, adjusting the training system in the companies, and making sure that people are not left behind.
There was just an article the other day that said AI is now learning to learn. So if AI is going to learn, I think that we humans must also learn to learn as well.
That's true. That's so true.
Marcin, thank you so much for your time here. It's always good to talk to you. We have also a personal relationship, hence the smiles. But thanks so much for the session, and we'll give it back to the show. How about that?
Thank you so much.
All right.